Hey everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Derek M. Cook, and this is Monster Kid Writer, the YouTube channel where I am tracking my own writing progress as I go through and try to finally finish a novel. And I've not been very active. The past couple of days, I've actually fallen off and have not updated this YouTube channel, and partly it's because I've not been writing, which I know, terrible. I need to write more. I need to write every single day. I know they say that, they being the masters, those who teach writing, those who have been there, that sort of thing. They say you need to write every day, and I truly do believe that. I just haven't been able to keep up with that because I've been dealing with some other real-life, non-writing stuff. I currently work a full-time job. It's not enough to pay all the bills, so I'm constantly scrambling and hustling and trying to find other ways to supplement or increase my income, which unfortunately gets in the way of the writing. Plus, I'm dealing with some health issues, mental health issues, that sort of thing, and it just, it's a whole thing. But that's not why you're here. You're here at Monster Kid Writer to hear about the writing. So less than 200 words have been written on the superhero novel, and I'm starting to have a little bit of doubt. I'm not going to stop. I've been wanting to write superhero fiction like this for over a decade, if not longer. Well, I guess over a decade means longer than that, but for a very long time. It's finally going to happen. I'm going to make it happen. But, I really kind of think about who I am and my footprint, my presence on the internet, my brand. And superhero stuff really isn't what I'm known for. These days, I am the man behind the Monster Kid radio podcast. Monster Kid. That's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk a little bit about why Monster Kid Writer is a thing. And really, I didn't come up with it. It was actually something that was suggested to me, kind of, sort of. I don't know if she remembers this conversation that we were having at one point by email years ago, but a dear friend of mine by the name of Tracy Morris, somehow or other, we were talking about what to call my writing presence online, whether it was trying to come up with a URL or a website or something. I don't remember how the conversation came up, but for whatever reason, she brought up the Beatles song, Paperback Writer, and that kind of stuck in my head. Paperback Writer, Monster Kid Writer. In fact, the logo, the graphic that I use a lot of times for Monster Kid Writer stuff is directly inspired by the Beatles album cover for Paperback Writer. And I tried to include photos in my version of that particular album cover that are special to me and have to do with my own history and my influences and that sort of thing. And I thought I'd talk a little bit about this here in this YouTube video. There are 4 images that make up the album cover that I've made up for Monster Kid Writer. I want to talk about the one that is lower left-hand corner. It is a picture of me and another dear friend of mine, Scott Morris. Yes, he is related to the aforementioned Tracy. One or the other is the better half. It depends on who you're talking to. I think they're both equally awesome. But anyway, that picture is of me and Scott at the Evans City Cemetery. Okay, well, if you know who I am and you know the kind of things that I'm into, you know why that's important. The Evans City Cemetery is the opening location of the 1968 film Night of the Living Dead, a George Romero classic and one of the most influential horror movies, I'd say, of all time, but also influential on me for a number of different reasons. And this picture actually includes a lot of that because my background as a podcaster didn't start with Monster Kid Radio. It started with Mail Order Zombie, a zombie movie podcast that originally was supposed to be about me reviewing zombie movies you had to get in the mail. You see, back then, Netflix's main method of distribution, it wasn't streaming, it was mail order. You'd go to their website, you'd tell them what movies you want, and they'd send you a DVD or a Blu-ray. And I found that there were a lot of low budget, no budget, rare, kind of sort of indie horror movies on Netflix, and I wanted to make a podcast that highlighted the mail order zombie movies you can get through Netflix. Plus, back then, and still a little bit today, but not nearly as much because we live in the day and age of Amazon streaming, Tubi, YouTube, Dailymotion, a number of different online streaming outlets. But back then, when Netflix's primary model or mode of distribution was mail order, a lot of indie filmmakers would also make their movies available for sale through their website. You'd go directly to their website, PayPal them 15, 20 bucks or whatever, and they'd mail you a DVD, sometimes a Blu-ray of their movie. And I wanted to spotlight those. And when I started that, I had no idea there were so many zombie movies out there. And I had a true love for the subgenre. I really did. And Night of the Living Dead is one of those movies that I always touted as like one of the best, one of the classics. Back when I was doing Mail Order Zombie, I reviewed movies on a scale of 1 to 5 headshots. And Night of the Living Dead was solidly a 5 headshot movie. I wish I could put the sound effect in here, but that sound effect that I used to use for that podcast has long been lost. I don't know, but I would consider Night of the Living Dead one of the classics. And that Scott's in the picture with me is pretty special too, because Scott is somebody that I've known for a long time, consider him one of my closest friends, and he's somebody that I met through the production of Mail Order Zombie. He actually started contributing on a regular basis. I was Brother D, he was Nita, nicknamed Scott, and he would do the zombie news every week or every other week on the show, and it was just a good time. And this photo actually was taken during a trip that he and his wife and my then wife were going to a Horror Hound Weekend horror convention, which again is something that I would have never done if not for Mail Order Zombie. So that's why this picture is important to me and why it's part of the Monster Kid Writer graphic, logo, album cover, whatever you want to call it. That's why it's there. I'll talk about the other photos that make up this album cover down the line as well, but I thought I'd take a second to at least check in, put some content out there, get a YouTube video out, and wish y'all the best. I hope everybody is having a good time with their own creative projects, whether you're writing or sketching or drawing or doing artwork or editing or podcasting or YouTubing or dancing or whatever it is you do. I hope you're successful, and I hope you're having a good time doing it. Please like and subscribe. You know how YouTube works. I appreciate you being here, and I do plan on getting some words thrown down tomorrow, fingers and tentacles crossed, and then of course on Wednesday I've got a writers group, and if the past 2 writers groups are any indication, then I know I'm going to get some words generated then. Will they be for the superhero novel? Probably, but I do feel some of the other things that I need to work on and want to work on kind of clawing at me a little bit, saying, me. So, we'll see what happens.